So they'll be calling you a radical. I want to do a follow-up to Tim Martin's great work. I asked him to do that, and I really appreciate everything that he's done. You know, he's not in good health, and he's been financially wiped out. He got divorced over this whole thing. You know, he's been with Kevin Blanche, the Post-Ignorance Project, for a long time. And he's a lifetime native steelhead Chinook salmon guide. In fact, he caught the world record. The biggest steelhead ever caught. He caught it in 2010. And so he went up to the Coal River Hatchery today. You know, he got something that he didn't expect. You know, expected they would just talk to him, be friendly, blah, blah, blah. Why wouldn't they? We've been told not to talk to journalists. What? So let's get to the numbers, and then we'll talk more about that. So first off, I asked him because the 10-year, you know, we have the 10-year data. As a scientist, as a PhD, this historic ongoing PhD, you know, this work, there's been a lot of people participate, but nobody's worked as hard as Tim has for this project. You know, Kevin Blanche's the Post-Ignorance Project. A lot of people put a lot of work into this. You know, look what we're up against. So, you know, I've been working the Columbia numbers because ODFW presents them, but it's hard to get data on the Rogue. As Tim said, the Coal River Hatchery is the biggest on Earth. So let's get to those numbers. We'll start with the Rogue. So Tim, I said, we need verification. So he verified today 1,500 returning steelhead salmon have made it to the hatchery. They've made it all the way up. What was that number 10 years ago? 38,000. 38,000. We're at 1,500. Dynasty. Okay, stay with me. So Tim verified there's a total of 2,215 Chinook salmon. Total for the year, 2,200. What was that number 10 years ago? Right around 180,000. 180,000 to 2,200. Okay, let's go to the Columbia. What was the steelhead number 10 years ago? 2010, before Fukushima. Now remember, they go see 1 to 2 years. I had to correct him on something. He says when he was doing the math in his head, and he's stressed out, of course, you know, he's thinking they're calling the cops on him, blah, blah. You know, and by the way, he doesn't have any money. I mean, he lives in his Airstream. I mean, it's amazing. And we're doing all the work. And this funding that just flows all over for these paid. ODFW, NOAA, you know, all these officials that are paid to do this. They won't tell us shit. They just work for us, but they won't tell us. So here we're stuck doing all this dirty work with no money. You know, both of us in poor health. You know. So, the Columbia, 826,000 steelhead, 2010. They're down to 70,000 this year. This is sonar in front of the dams, Dynasty. So, Chinook, from 2.7 million to 473,000. As you can see, the Rogue's even worse. Now, we have the numbers on the Willamette, which is they go through the Columbia. So we already have that. The Deschutes, we're going to get them verified, but my work right now is showing they're down 99% in a 10-year period. Now, this Jedediah Smith, again, he's talked to us, whatever, down 98% on both. Now, the Jedediah Smith has no dams. They're dying at sea. Now, Tim said these smolts right now that are in there, the several million, they're running on the backup generator because the Army Corps Engineer runs this dog and pony show. By the way, the Army Corps Engineers is classified, Kevin Blanche. That's an arguable fact. Now, how's that even possible? It's true. The live cams have been out now for 6 or 7 years on the Columbia. I keep calling him and it says, you know, I can send you up a GoPro. I found one on eBay for $40. But everybody just goes along. It's amazing to me that Tim and I are the ones doing this work. It's pretty incredible, actually. Remember when I say, well, I tell people, this is years ago, oh, hey, come book a salmon trip, on the Great Salt Lake. I'm going to take you out there. Whoa, whoa. We'll go blue marlin fishing. Maybe we'll catch a couple of mermaids. Send your, might as well. Same thing as up there. They don't close it. They don't tell you there's no fish. Go fishing. By the way, never caught a paper fish. That's our buddy, our friend. Remember he sent us that video of the fires and he was walking right into the fires? Our friend? No one's seen him since. I'm pretty sure he burnt to death. That's very sad. I love that guy. I ain't never caught a paper fish. And, he was... It's sad what's happening to our ecology. No one gives a fuck. Who would have believed it? The hardcore evidence and these so-called greenwashing machines, Sierra Club, Greenpeace, what's his name? Richard, or with his Patagonian gear. They're still trying to fundraise for dams. It's not dams. That's nothing to do with dams. They're dying to see. I proved that. So Tim says, I had to correct him on this. He says, well, 2024. No, that'll be on, those are Chinook smolts. The Chinook smolt, right now, they'll return in 2026. Now the steelhead smolts, they'll be back next, 2 years. They go back twice. They're called half-pounders the first go through. Numbers mean nothing. The propaganda we see all over the internet every day, more nuclear, when nuclear's declining, this salmon's fishing's great in Alaska, record returns, record collapse. I concentrate on the scientific hardcore data. First I hypothesize the knowledge, and like I said, thank God I've had Tim Martin helping me. He's born and raised Oregon. The guy's a walking, talking encyclopedia about Oregon. You want to talk salmon, he's a genius. He's a salmon fishing genius. Homemade boat, homemade lures, handmade rods. Got rid of them all. He says, I'm not going to go kill the last freaking salmon. He's well read, he's educated. We talk Zane Grey, we talk culture, we talk art. The guy is about as grassroots. Well, he is Oregon. There's nothing more Oregon than this dude. Nothing. And it's heartbreaking to watch what he's had to go through. What we all have. But so I want to get back on those numbers. So Tim has verified the rogue number. I asked him to do that. We don't have any money, either one of us. Fucking, after all these years, I still don't. I don't even have a decent fucking car. I got a cancer bill for $1.8 million. And remember, both of us, Tim and I, we both were pretty wealthy guys in 2010, like the salmon. I was a millionaire. I had 30,000 shares of Tesla stock. Wasn't meant to be, was it? The ecology matters. I'm happy to be alive, and I really thank everybody who supported this historic work. And thank you, Tim. I really appreciate that today. I really love those videos and important historic stuff. That's what I've always said. The post-ignorance project is actually, who's the media? Who's the fucking media? I've traveled. Look at the work I've put in. Think about the tide pool work alone at low tide. Flying there. I get it done, and I live in Utah, but the California coastal tide pool work that I've done. Wow, I think about it, I was going through it, and I'm like, oh my God. What fucking incredible footage. I go across those tide pools like a freaking, knowledge matters when you're doing stuff like this. And Tim's got it. He knows where, when, how, and where to be. Where to go, when to go, who, and so he's verified the number that I asked him to verify today for our 10-year work. Remember we used to sit the Blanche Martin matrix on how much money was to be spent per salmon be caught. Remember we had it up to a couple 100,000. Then we raised it to over $500,000. Then we raised it to $1 million. Oh, God, I don't even know. We're talking millions are spent per salmon. The Mitchell Act, the bailout money, the campers, the RVs, the fishing trips. The boats, the lures, my God, the fishing guides. The money that's being spent per salmon. is millions, literally many millions, because there are very few salmon now. All coincidence, the great coincidence. They're dying at sea post Fukushima. It's unarguable proof. I don't, I hypothesized it at first, but it's not a hypothesis now. It's factual science, which I called Fuktonium, the Great Pacific Genocide. You're talking probably the greatest PhD in human history. And I did it grassroots fundamentally with a little help from my friends, our post-ignorance army. Most people have quit us. I understand. It's fucking hard to hang in this fight. So he verified the number. We've gone from 38,000 still head on the rogue to 1,500. We can do math. We've gone from 2,200 returning Chinook salmon. Oh my God, 20. I can't believe that number is that low for the year. For the year. From a few 100,000? We've gone from a few 100,000 to 2,200 in 10 years. They're dying at sea. Not to sea, the anchovy and sardines are down 28%. Well class, same thing. Tide pools, they're not all the way gone. I never used the word extinction, did I? I named it the Great Pacific Genocide. Let's hope. But, it's getting to the point where I might have to change the name to extinction. First came the god of salmon. Well, how will I live? How will I live? I will give you the god of water. What a hallowed freaking... Everybody fled. Where are the spiritual people? Where are all the native... Well, they've been poisoned too by the white man's greed. What they consume, money. Everybody's... The golden calf. They're all in. I go back to right there where Tim's doing his work to Archie Mitchell. Who's he? He was a preacher. He had a church. They're sending the fugu. I was thinking about my fugu being not videos I did when I was full of cancer. Release balloons. Japan was releasing balloons up into the... No one knew what the jet stream was. They hypothesized it. There was a philosopher that had philosophized 2,000 years ago. There was this super wind way up there high, and he was launching balloons with bombs on them. They're called fugu bombs. Lots of them were making it here, and the U.S. kept a big secret, just like they are Fukushima. He had a Sunday school class out there, and the kids found one. Went over there and played with it, and one of them killed them all. That's what's happening to Oregon. And the fugu bombs, my dad used to have one. He found out here by the lake. That's how I knew what a fugu bomb was when I was a kid. My dad told me about them when I was a little boy. I'm like, what? That's what Fukushima is. Fugu bombs, Fuktonium bombs. Jet stream moves left to right. Fish swim. Ocean currents. That bridge from Fukushima, Japan, made it to Gold Beach within, 6 days? That whole bridge. Jet stream. Thank you, Tim Martin, for your work. So we verified that number. We have the 10-year data. So I compiled it today, and I did the Fraser all the way up and down. On the average mean on the returning steelhead salmon are down 98% in 10 years. And the Chinook are down 96. And so we have the data. And so you can run regression. We know it radically happened in 2011. As scientists, we call those outliers. And you can run regression at points 2011. So we have to start looking. Something radically changed acutely fast right here, right now. Not some gradual heating of the earth or whatever. Something radical, crazy happened to the ocean in 2011. It's a tough one. Did a meteor hit? 9 million exhale Valdezes? How about 3 full core meltdowns fucking buried into the Pacific Ocean? MOX fuel, fucking spent fuel pools fucking blown in there and water pushed over into the Pacific Ocean. Again, the Japanese current, the California current, that bridge made it to Gold Beach in 6 days. Fish swim. So you have the data. There it is. For God and everybody. The Great Pacific Genocide. It's not a hypothesis anymore, which I named Fuktonium. Stay tuned. 11,000 videos later.